All right, let's get right into it with a question that, let's be honest, probably hits home for all of us. Why is it that the angrier you get, the less you actually hear what someone is saying?
Oh, you totally know this feeling, right? You're in a really heated discussion, emotions are just soaring, and then suddenly, the other person's voice kind of turns into background noise. It's like that Charlie Brown teacher sound. Wah, wah, wah. You see their mouth moving, but the words, they're just not landing. It's incredibly frustrating.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just you. This isn't some personal flaw. It's actually a feature, not a bug, of your brain's ancient survival programming kicking in. And we're going to break down exactly how that works.
So it all kicks off with what I like to call the brain's red alert system, a little alarm bell deep inside your head.
And this is the main character in our story, the amygdala. You can just think of it as your brain's super-sensitive smoke detector. Its job is to constantly scan for danger and process really big emotions, so you can react in a split second if you have to.
So, when you get really worked up, your amygdala doesn't know the difference between an angry comment and, a lion jumping out of the bushes. It just senses a threat and pulls the fire alarm. This floods your whole system with adrenaline and triggers that classic fight or flight response.
And check this out. This is what's so fascinating. When that alarm goes off, your brain has to start making some tough choices about where to send its energy. It immediately prioritizes stuff like threat detection, feeling that big emotion, and pure self-protection. To do that, it has to temporarily shut down things it sees as, non-essential for survival. Like, you guessed it, understanding complex language and thinking logically.
This whole energy-shifting thing leads us straight to our next point, which is what happens when your rational brain basically just goes offline for a bit. And for that, we need to introduce player number 2, the prefrontal cortex. Now, if the amygdala is the frantic alarm system, the prefrontal cortex is the calm and collected CEO in the corner office. It's the part of your brain in charge of all the smart stuff, logic, reasoning, language, all that detailed analysis.
So you can see the chain reaction here, right? You get emotionally agitated. That wakes up the amygdala, which starts screaming danger. The amygdala then basically hijacks the system and tells the logical prefrontal cortex to take a back seat. And what's the immediate result? Your ability to understand what's being said and to communicate clearly just tanks.
And here's what that actually feels like in the real world. You're hearing the sounds, sure, but your brain's ability to actually decode the meaning of those sounds is way down. You might only cherry-pick the words that confirm why you're so angry. Or even worse, you might totally misinterpret something neutral as a direct attack, which of course just throws more fuel on the fire.
But it's not just about your logical brain being offline. There's another huge piece to this puzzle. Your attention gets completely and totally hijacked.
This might sound super obvious, but it is so critical to understanding this. You only have a finite amount of attention at any given moment. It's kind of like the RAM on your computer. Once it's maxed out, everything else just grinds to a halt. And when you're furious, that limited attention span gets completely eaten up by this super loud internal monologue. Your brain is just buzzing, thinking things like, are they attacking me? And I can't believe they said that. And it's already busy planning its next comeback. There is just zero mental bandwidth left for anything else. This chart shows it perfectly. As the volume of that screaming internal monologue goes way up, the brain power available to actually process what the other person is saying just plummets. The noise inside your own head is literally drowning out the real conversation.
Okay, so let's put a pin in this and give it a name, because psychologists have a really good term for this whole experience.
The whole process is called emotional hijacking. It's that tipping point, that moment when your emotions get so intense that they cross a threshold and your rational brain basically loses the driver's seat to your emotional brain. It's the perfect name for what we've been talking about.
And doesn't this just nail it? I mean, think about it. After a huge fight, the other person might have made 10 different points, but you only walk away remembering that one sentence, the one that really stung, the one that made you the angriest. That, right there, is emotional hijacking in a nutshell. So what's the big takeaway here? It's not that we're broken. It's that our brains come with these factory settings designed for survival. And just knowing that this is how we're wired is a huge first step. So it leaves us with a really powerful question to chew on. Now that we know this is how our brains operate, how can we go into that next difficult conversation a little differently? What can we do to keep that CEO online and avoid the hijack in the first place? Something to think about.